to say. I ain't got shit to say. I'm the king of Perth. How about you?
I'll fight my mum if she can make weight.
Who's fucking next?
Eternal MMA Uncensored.
Alright, 3, 2, 1. Welcome. Episode 8 of Mma Uncensored.
You're in fucking jamming distance.
That's true.
Normally across the desk with my little T-Rex arms that I'm getting.
We're joined by Mckeever, who is not only a fucking, I'd just say a hot prospect, coming through as a fighter.
This old cunt.
Honestly, you can still be a prospect.
Nah, just trying
Next
to
Gen,
kill
mate.
some dreams, mate. That's all I'm doing.
Represent.
And an owner of Next Gen MMA in Mandurah, which is fast becoming, we were just talking about it, fast becoming the best, at least WA gym for kids. Without a doubt. Like, you got some fighters there in general that are obviously adults, but the kids there,
Yeah.
so in 5-10 years,
That's the plan. That's the plan. You know what I mean? We won't jump the gun too fast, like we've not even opened a year and a half here, but definitely, the kids. That's what you got to aim at, you know.
well, you were just saying you started with like 2 or 3 people.
I had like my stepson or my son. You know what I mean? Like, but I've got 2 boys. One of them's not old enough to do it yet, but the oldest boy,
He's going to be a terror, though.
yeah, he's bad. And, but the older one, he started doing it. He'd already done a lot of judo and been around the gyms with me when I was living in the UK for a while. And then I had 3 other kids that pretty much started the first week. A brother and a sister and another lad. And then we've got about, I was saying before, about 35 maybe kids now between like the ages of like 5 and 14. So.
And you going full MMA with them?
Well, we mainly jiu-jitsu.
Elbows.
Yeah, we do MMA. We do MMA, like get them doing leg locks and stuff like that already. But we more so based on the jiu-jitsu, obviously, and then go from there. Like once they hit a certain age, the 10-year-olds and up can do the hours classes, so they jump in and do the striking and that. And it helps them. But
Ben's got some kids. Jack Della.
Yeah, the Della brothers are just out nappies. Fucking killing people.
Big 7, man.
That is
Big 7.
You got a fight coming up. Finally getting back in there.
Yeah.
You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. Looking forward. Sort of getting a bit hungry now. So I'm cutting down to lightweight. So I'm a pretty big lad normally. So yeah, looking forward to just getting it done and getting in there. So
Wait and try, mate.
steamroller, mate. Steamroller MMA.
Steamroller.
Yeah. You just caught the little cheeky knee in the eyeball accidental and
Indeed.
yeah.
Jeez.
So just.
Is that accidentally?
Oh, I don't know. Who knows? When it comes to him. Nah, I think it was accidental. It was just on the ground and just got bumped and it looks worse than it is. But
I mean, Steve is a notorious flow grappler.
Yeah,
That's
that's
like
right. He's a bad man, mate. He's a bad man. It's hit and miss with Steve, you know. Nice Steve or bad Steve, so.
You do a lot of your sparring and your training up at Kick-Ass. How's the drive and all that? Is that?
Yeah, it's a mission. Like it kills.
You're down in Mandurah. It's a good 45 minutes.
Oh man,
50?
it's probably 50 minutes to here. I come up here and spar with like the boys and Josh and that come down to mine and spar, but I'll go to Steve's. It's just you just need to, don't you? You know, if we haven't got partners down there, mate. No mistake about that. I've got some good guys that I can spar with.
Drillich is an absolute.
Yeah, he's a killer, you know. But you know, apart from that, and I think with me and Anthony is we both know each other's games really well.
Yeah.
So although like one extreme to another of what we're good at, when we go into each other's good zone, it's like I know what he's going to do, he knows what I'm going to do. So, it's a necessity, isn't it? You know. But I've always had to travel for training, no matter where I lived, whether it was here or in the UK. I always travelled like 50 minutes to an hour to go to good gyms. So.
Talk a little bit about the UK and where you started.
God's country.
That's it, mate. That's it. What north anyway? But
way too many British. we talked about this last week. There's way too many British people in WA MMA.
There is. There's a few little like Cockney accents running around everywhere, the Scouse ones. But I started at a gym over there in Stockport, which is just out of Manchester, and that used to be the old SBG Stockport. So,
That Tanswell.
well, Carl had SBG Manchester. I never knew Carl, but he wasn't in the country at the time. He was in the US or something. But when there was a bit of a break, there was a coach in me in Bromley, and he was coaching just catch there. But we had so the first guys I ever met training was, I walked into the gym was a lad named Brendan Laughlin, and he was on the Ultimate Fighter here for the UK team. And so I've been good mates with Brendan since, but and a couple other guys, Ali Arish, and like these are names that you probably won't know, but for Ben, he'll know a lot of these guys, like and another guy, Cam Anakuru. So these guys are like pretty heavy duty fighters. Even back then, they were already coming up, and so I started training with them. And then once I sort of did about a year there, I went over to Next Gen and then another gym called ASW. So I did most of my training at the end of Next Generation and ASW. Was like,
But how did you end up in the UK from Sydney? Or?
I was living here on and off. Just decided to go travelling, you know what I mean? And I don't know. Well, I was working on the rigs. I wasn't doing any training at the time. I started off boxing when I was a kid. Like I fought like amateurs over in New South Wales and that. And then it's been a few years since I've done really much. You know, dabbled here and there as you do, but just so you can run out on a Friday night. You know what I mean? Like,
Boxing?
Yeah. Boxing.
Yeah. Could have gone pro, but you know,
yeah, that's right. Couldn't box apples, mate. You know what I mean? But so then I went over there. I met some guys in South Africa, and then they said come over to the UK. Went over there, and then literally I was there for about 4 days, and then I got taken to this gym. And I just said, "Well, come up and have a roll." And I was like, "Oh, well, what's a roll?" You know. And then I was like, "Oh, that's jiu-jitsu crap."
Yes.
And then I just got there, and that was it. And then it was just like loved it. So I pretty much grafted a little bit to not have to go to work and just be able to train all the time. So that's all I was doing. I was just going and training every day. And
What point did you get bitten by the bug?
the day I walked in, man, you know, like I'd always loved martial arts and always had something to do with it and that. I was always more of I would say like an analyst more than I was a competitor. I competed, I fought everything when I was a kid, but like I always liked to watch people and that. So obviously probably the way I'll go down the road of being you know, I'll always probably be a better coach than I will be a fighter. That's just the reality of it. But when I did grappling for the first time, I started off as catch wrestling. So my background comes from catch wrestling. So when I walked in, man, I just seen like, you know, the old story, man. You walk in the gym and you got like a guy who's like 62 kilo. You know, I was playing rugby league at the time, so I was big guy. And then these guys just picking me up and dumping me. And then I just thought to myself, I wasn't one of those guys that ever questioned it. Was like, I've been on the street, I could do this. I knew straight. I was like, man, if this was on the street, this guy would mince me, you know. Like, and then I just, you know, there's party that want to be a martial artist, and then there's another party that you know, you just like to hurt somebody sometimes, you know. So that's how it is.
Well, that's funny. You put up a post the other day on Facebook about like why did you get into jiu-jitsu? Why did you get into MMA? And you just want to know people's reasons.
Yeah, that's right.
I like Chris Fishko, who's just like sometimes I like to just hurt
people, man. You know? Like I did a seminar with this guy named Chris Howder once, and he's like one of the Dirty Dozen, one of the first non-Brazilian black belts, and he said, he goes, you know, these guys talking about they want to do it for self-defense. He said, like, they're liars, you know, and he's not like a big tough guy, you know, but he was just being honest. He's like, when I walked into a jiu-jitsu gym in like, he's like 1987, he's like, man, I went in there because I wanted to know how to put it on someone if they put it on me. And I'm like, well, most people, that's the reality of it.
Mate,
you learn to be calm about it and you go a different avenue, but I guess, you know, you get a young guy walk off the street, he doesn't want to be a victim anymore, I suppose.
That's like, there was road rage last night. And I was like, I wonder if this guy can fight. Because he was going nuts at this other car, and I was like, so many times these guys...
Cars are the worst.
Is it power?
This protecting bubble, steel bubble around them, and then so they think they're fucking up tough. The amount of times I've seen people screaming and then you go, well, should we stop? And
that's it.
And then... Boom,
it's weird too, because it's like...
everyone's guilty of it too. You know, not saying I'm afraid of a guy, but you wouldn't walk past a guy. If I walk past a guy on the street, I'm not going to start abusing him.
Because you know what's going to happen.
But in the car, you're like, hey,
I reckon you'd have a crack.
He's probably had a car. That's how he got the black eye coming up here.
That's it, mate. Yeah,
I've always noticed that the more I learn and the more I've been around MMA, the less, like, the more relaxed I am. In the car, in general, I don't road rage at all. When I was 16, 17 driving, I was like, fuck you. Now I'm like, no, that guy's probably a black belt. Like, I'm just like, like, he's confident. He's confident for a reason.
Who did I say to yesterday? I think one of the girls. I was talking to one of the girls before the jiu-jitsu class, and she was just going on how she's enjoying jiu-jitsu for self-defense and confidence and all that kind of stuff. And I said, yeah, you've got to be really careful these days about who you pick a fight with, because everyone's got a little bit of knowledge. And I said, even like the 3-4 months of knowledge you have of jiu-jitsu, you get someone's back, you're going to put them to sleep, whether they're a grown man or not. And you know, they might look at you as an easy target, but if you've got a bit and they've got nothing,
that's right. What are they relying on? Yeah.
Also, I had these, showing my little cousins are like 10, 11, how to do a rear naked choke. Like, I was just like, oh yeah, they're old enough. But what I didn't explain to them is like when someone taps, like you let go. So like I got them to do it, and then they're squeezing. I got it perfect, and I was like,
Let go, yeah.
and they're like, oh, what do you mean? I was like, oh, man, like you forget, like people don't know that even the power that you have, like here.
That's it.
And then to us, tap means
That's it.
you could be cranking my ankle, but you just feel that, and you're like, for some reason, your body just goes bang straight away. Like you let go, and it's weird. I reckon if I was in a fight in the street and I had someone's neck and they went, I'd probably like,
if you had it to do, probably, you know, like it's been a while, you know.
You wouldn't even go through. I'd probably just like someone that could beat me would just tap, and I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. And
Got it, yeah.
I actually had that in Adelaide in 2007. I was over here for a boxing tournament, and then the finals had finished, and I was getting drunk, and I ended up, it was fucking the morning after the finals, I was still out in my sort of boxing gear from the night before, like team t-shirt and all that kind of stuff. And then I fucking,
it's just, with my glass.
And I got into I was drinking with these lads, but I didn't know them. I was on my own, and there's a big group of them, and I've ended up fucking getting one of them in a rear naked choke, and I can honestly tell you don't let go. But then his mate fucking punched me, broke my nose, did more damage to me than I had 6 fights in that tournament.
Since we're bringing up that, like, when I first moved, it was in the UK, I must have been training for about a year and a half, and one Friday night I heard this bang, I thought it was on the window, and I went out and these lads were walking past, and then the next weekend the same thing happened. So when I opened the door, they just kicked the next door neighbour's bin over. And I looked at my bin and I realised that was what the bang was. You know, it took me a little while to get it together. And Friday night I'm in my footy shorts watching a kids movie probably, you know. And then I said, oh, you know, little prat, you kicked my bin over. And
you didn't call him a prat.
You know, they must have been about 16, 17, they're only young, you know. But I thought, you know, so they started running, and I chased one of them. Pretty good on the feet, and I went over him, mate, put him to sleep. And as he got on the ground, I remember him waking up, and he started crying. And I had a lad that I was friends at the time. We pulled his wallet, took his ID, and then my mate took his. I seen him turn around, he's taking his shoes off. Fucking I said, what are you taking his shoes off for? And he said, oh, mate, you know, it's cold here, mate. And they walk home bare feet, they'll know. And I was like, all right, fair play. But yeah, you know, I didn't let go, mate. I'll wait until he was out. And yeah.
Scousers, mate.
Yeah. You said that so casual, like, yeah.
Before you leave today, check your bag.
Yeah, that's it.
We spent a lot of time in the northwest.
Always. But I turned around, I seen him on his shoes. I'm like, I asked, so what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm in the bush, mate. You know.
Why just take his own?
He's fucking wearing it.
So you can find where he lives?
Just in case he can't come round. That's all, mate. Standard trick if you work on the doors over there, mate. You know what I mean? If you get them, you take their ID, you know. Just in case.
Have you worked on the doors much?
Yeah, I worked on the doors in the UK. That's my first job I got over there.
Oh, good. That's a fucking great.
Yeah.
You know much martial arts stuff? Is that how you got into working on the doors, or just?
No. Funnily enough, man, I just did it just with the mate I met in South Africa. He was working on the doors at the time, and when I got over there, I just needed some quick cash because I didn't have any. So he said, I can get you a job working on the door of this nightclub, and it was just a really, really shitty nightclub, and it was good. I had a good time doing it, you know, to be honest. Over there, it's different. Like, over here, it's a bit more controlled over here, you know, like there's so many things you can do. The first night I went over there, you like what Ben said, you know, I'm in the northwest of the UK. They don't have, you know, there's not a lot of Aussies there, not a lot of, you know, people from our side of the world, you know, like a lot of Polish and that, but that's about it. And then, you know, I got taken through and if my mate's watching, this guy named Shuff, you know, and he's massive, 6'7". He won like a British title back in the late 80s in kickboxing, and back then no one really did it, so it wasn't like he was the greatest kickboxer, but I mean, he's 6'7".
Good enough, yeah.
I can throw a punch or two, so it's like,
don't want to fight.
Yeah, and he took me through the nightclub. This is this, and then really nice guys. Like, you know, we don't know if they're drunk and they're mouthing off, we let it go because they're just drunk. But if they're really, really mouthing off, he goes, and we'll send them through this door here. And he's opened this exit door, mate. There's blood all over the wall. So he goes, oh, we don't clean this one. He goes, there's no cameras in here, mate. He goes, we just pin him in here and just pump him. And I was like, right. So you go to jail back home if you did that. And he goes, no one's gonna dog me and bone. And I was like, all right. So that's how it sort of was, you know.
Fuck yeah, I was gonna say times have changed with nightclubs. Like, I got kicked out the other night. I was shit faced, and the security guard came up, gave me a water, walked me out. I was like, fuck, times have changed.
Yeah.
I was like,
Drag it out like this.
I was like, even 5 years ago, normally it's like...
In England, still, you go out head first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One on this arm, you're opening all the doors with your head.
I wouldn't call myself an aggressive. Like I wouldn't say I'm an aggressive guy. You know, like I'm pretty happy-go-lucky, and when I was working on the doors there, you know, like a lot of the guys that fight over there, like Fishy and all that, they all work on the doors.
Yeah.
And so, well, they either have in the past, or it's just part of it. It's what happens. You know over there, that, you know, guys earning £250 a week, and they can go and start fighting, and then after about 3 or 4 pro fights, they can start doing privates, work on the doors on a weekend. All of a sudden, they're making £350 a week, and they're winning. You know, and so you don't know who you're picking over there, but there's some little bastards over there. You know, over here, guys get mouthy, you know, but over there, mate, guys, you know, little pikies and all that sort of stuff, sort of coming in and doing all sorts of stuff. I didn't see too much drama, to be fair, but you know, so I won't lie about it. But you know, I see a few guys get their heads kicked in, and I seen guys choke. You know, I never did this, but I seen guys choke women out. You know what I mean? Like if a girl comes over with a slur, man, I seen guys, man, just grab her and put her to sleep, mate. Like, you know, fuck you.
Chuck her in the car.
And ain't nothing that I'm not agreeing with that at all. You know what I mean? But it's a different world, and I guess
it is, eh?
Yeah, I guess if you meet, you know, you met the guys that have come over and trained with me, you know, they've got a different mentality on the way things are. So.
Well, going over that, I mean, you did something great for WA MMA, bringing over Chris Fishgold. How did that? Obviously, Cage Warriors. Lightweight champ, isn't it?
Yeah.
I keep looking at it, and he's going to punch me in the face with this, but he looks like a featherweight. He's
If he watches this, mate, you are dead.
I know. What kind of featherweight does he look like? No, like just with his short, he's bigger, but I was like, maybe he cuts a lot of weight. I don't know. I'm scared now.
Nah, he fought at featherweight.
Fuck, I'm editing this.
Yeah. No, he fought at featherweight like a fair few times, and then bumped up to lightweight. But
in Australia, he'd be a big featherweight, and he's a decent sized lightweight.
Yeah.
In the UK, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, he's very, very strong. So even though he's maybe not the hugest lightweight, you see at the side the height difference of a lot of it, but his game is all about being the shorter guy. You know, he gets on the inside and
squeeze them fucking heads off.
Yeah, he's very like listen.
Pick Tyrone up.
Yeah, you know, like that's and that Tyrone man, like I know Steve and that all speak highly of him.
Yeah,
they reckon he's a beast on the ground, and he's a big dude, pretty relaxed. Like he
like 110.
Yeah, something like he competes a lot, but you know, like Fishy, you know what? Like that's no disrespect to Tyrone because he's a beast, man. But that's just credit to Fishgold and what he.
Fishgold's like next level. It was
and,
good to have him out here.
And in the gym, you know, like you can. It's like anything, man. You know, you can give it to a guy in the gym, and it's when you see him compete, man. And when he competes, he's a different guy. You know, like that's what he.
Well, I think there's fighters and there's sport fighters.
That's it. Yeah.
I think Fishy is a fighter through and through. Like he'd fight you for your fucking lunch.
That's it. Yeah.
But so he brings that mentality, whereas my brother's a great example of someone who was a really good sports fighter, never had any trouble outside of the gym, anything like that. The minute he got to a level where he was fighting guys that, like Fishgold, he fought Ian Entwistle, and that was the first guy that I saw in my brother's face he wasn't too short, because he's an intimidating character. I mean, he's a fucking dwarf, but
no, he's very...
It's like, fuck, isn't it?
He's an intimidating guy, and Pat was a bit taken aback by that, where it's always been shaking hands.
Like a fucking Cam Murky. Like, he's just fucking...
man. I mean, you won't get a guy who's probably more respectful than Cam.
So nice.
You know, but...
It's got that Diaz.
You know, there's a few guys in this world that, you know, you say you wouldn't want to mess with him if I did, you know, and I'm glad that, you know, Cam's like my brother, you know, and I'm glad, but that's just because he's a good dude, but also on the flip side of that, I'd hate to be the guy that ever pisses him off.
Bro, he even helped me out today, like a trainer. He beats the shit out of you, that explains, like, other guys are just fucking steamroll you, not there.
He's very misconceived, Cam, you know, like, because of the way he is, he'd be like an Australian version of like Fishy, you know, like he's very in your face, he's passionate, you know, so you can go different ways, but for me, like, since I've ever met Cam, you know, we got on, he's probably my main sparring partner, really.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's helped you a lot.
If you talk about sparring partners, so I help him out in certain things, and he helps me out in a lot of ways. So that's just how it's been, you know. But I wouldn't, you know, our gym wouldn't be doing what it's doing without him as well, you know. Because people down in my gym love him, mate. We bring him down all the time, you know. People think, oh, so mate, I bring him down there, man. And if I put on Facebook that he's coming down to coach class on a Wednesday night, you'll get more people there because they just like the way he is.
Yeah, I mean, I had to watch a fight of he wanted me to get it from a disc to just like sort of be on the internet. it was him versus Mopper, Muay Thai.
Yeah.
I mean,
His first Muay Thai fight, I think, as well.
And he takes on fucking Mopper, who's like
a killer,
a freak, and ended up being like multiple time champ. He was amazing, and even Cam, I think he lost that fight, but it was like the punishment that the dude took and just kept walking forward. And there's something about Muay Thai when you're losing and it's like leg kicks and shit like that, it's just like you can get tapped out in MMA and knocked out, but there's something about watching a guy get his leg fucking chopped. And if you've never taken a leg kick, like it's fucking ridiculous.
It's like being hit with a baseball bat, and I've been hit with a baseball bat. it's like being hit by a baseball bat. Like your leg. There's only so many you can take.
And that's the thing, like, I think people need to, and it's not even, some people think, oh, get kicked in the knee, that's what hurts. Like, no, you just fucking take it on the meat of your leg, and after a while, you feel like your leg is just going to snap.
You can't walk after, you know. Like,
and then especially having a guy like Cam who's fucking 100 kilos now, fucking throwing him, like, and you're...
It's his technique as well, what people really don't understand, you know, like, he's a martial artist, he's a fighter, but he's also like very skilled.
He's on purple belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but I mean, his jiu-jitsu's come to the last couple of years since I've known him. You know, people used to say he was never a grappler, and now you'd say like, man, this guy knows how to grapple. Man, he can beat like good high-level jiu-jitsu guys, you know, around the same weight. Obviously, if he loses, he could still lose 30 kilo and he'd still be very strong as well. And you know, it's his technique. His striking technique's a bit different than everyone else's. Like he throws kicks. You know, he doesn't really have to turn his hips out like other guys doing that. You know, he makes it, even now that he's putting on all the weight he has, he still makes it work. And he can just, man, he goes, man. He's like a freight train. He just goes straight forward. If you walk backwards with him, you know, you're gonna have a bad day.
So Steve said he's like, one of the biggest troubles is with like you and him is sometimes it's like, they just go to war. He's like, okay. Sometimes it's like, please pull back.
Yeah, you know, like because with Cam, it's, you know, it's not like he's not exactly Mayweather head movement, you know, like, and that's just him, you know, and you know, so when I spar with him, you know, I can take a shot in the chin, which is not a good thing to be able to do, I guess, like if you know, but at the same time with him, I know, you know, he's not going to bounce around too much, so I can stand there. Obviously, he always gets the better of me. That's just because he's the way he is, but so I can stand there with him and get that hard grit out, and it's good fun, you know, with him. But when he's really on it, like when you see him and he's on it, like it's not fun, you know. Like you got to like, I pick me days, mate. You know what I mean? Like when he's looking a bit tired, he's just floating from the mines. I'm like, yeah, let's spark him.
Yeah. It's one of the funniest things. Like before Kick-Ass moved to obviously in the city, when they were back, it was a square room, so you couldn't hide from anyone. If you were there, you fucking had to fight. Every time Cam was there, when he'd fly back, he'd just fly in, fly out, he'd fly back. Oh, so many people had injuries. So many people had so many.
That's it. No, people, and he makes honest. He makes people honest. You know, like a lot of guys, and he's got the same mentality as me. I'm sure Ben does as well. I see guys come in the gym and they're all the talk, man. You know, and they're this and they're that. And then I see guys that they work. I've got a guy at my gym. He's never going to fight probably. If he wants to, I'm sure I'll let him. You know, that's the kind of guy he is. But he's got 3 kids. He's in his mid-30s. He's a boilermaker, 10 hours a day, bust ass. And then he walks in the gym and does 2.5 hours. And man, this guy is under the pump 2.5 hours. His facial expression is just like misery. And then at the end of the session, he's like, oh, that was the best ever. And you know, like, I've got so much respect for a guy like that. And Cam's the same. He'll turn up when Cam's there, you know, but you'll get the guys who are like, man, I'm going to be the next UFC champion. And it's like, oh, well, take on this guy, you know what I mean? Like, he's not going to, Cam doesn't go hard on anybody as far as he's aware. Like, he'd go a lot harder if he wanted to. But people just tend to like, oh, no, I'd rather not be that guy today that's on the end of it, you know? And it's like, he's not hurting anybody, you know? He's if anything, he's just, you know, the way he sees it is, you want to fight MMA, you know, then that's, you've got to tough it out, you know, but...
I think people struggle with that sort of stuff, that like, they think you're competitive when you train all the time. Sometimes you go in and you just get fucking murked. Oh, like even the best of the best, you go in and it's almost like you felt like you wasted your time because you just get fucking destroyed.
I've got a little rule about that. It's like 80% of the time your training is okay. You know, like it's not memorable. It's just putting that. And that's the most important part of your training. The other 20%, 10% of it's fucking horrible and 10% of it's amazing. You only ever remember the 10%.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the bit where you're getting all your work done is what you forget about. So you'll leave the gym, oh, it's fucking shit today, but you've had a week of good training, but you only remember the shit part, or you were fucking on fire and smoking everyone, and you remember that part. But your work is getting done in the 8%.
Yeah, definitely.
And we used to have this thing at like FFC in Northbridge when there was a UFC on. The next Monday, packed.
Oh yeah.
The classes were fucking packed, and then it'll die off again. And it's like you're sitting at an eternal event. Everyone wants to fight. I guarantee you get a few people that's like, next one, I'm fucking there.
Yeah, mate.
And it's like
afterwards.
but that's not when you want to be. Anyone can be a fighter. You can ask me if I wanted to fight right in the middle of the ring. I'd be like, oh yeah, all right. But it's like it's the fucking Wednesday afternoon. When you got fucking 8 weeks before you fight. That's the fucking...
Those guys out there working 9 to 5 jobs and they're like...
It's this time now as well. Like you're 2-3 weeks out, 2 and a bit weeks out, you're fucking hungry, you're beaten up, you're tired.
You're talking to these dickheads.
That's it, man.
You're still in the gym. You know, you got no choice.
Nah, that's it.
And that's where fighters are made.
If you're not there, you know, I guess at that stage, if you're not there, you know, you got to listen to your body and all that sort of stuff, but if you're not doing something, then you feel guilty. And when you start feeling guilty, you start getting a bit, you know, insane and a doubt. And yeah, like, you know, like you said, on a Wednesday arvo or a Thursday arvo, when it's like, I like Anthony Drillich, he come in the other day, you know, bit sore, all that. Wasn't going to do the session we were doing. He'd already trained that day, but he'll just pick up some weights.
Yeah.
And start doing something.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't have to be like, you know, listen, at the end of the day, there's too many guys as well now, low-level MMA, thinking that they're going to train like GSP. You know, I've got guys, and I've been lucky enough, and I'll say lucky, you know, a lot of people say, oh, how do you meet these guys? And you know, I've made some really good friends over the short period of time I've done it. And a guy that's come over here a couple of times, named Jimmy Harbison, right? So he's world champion, you know, he's ex-world champion, positional jiu-jitsu. He was part of Lloyd Irvine's team. He was the coach of the Ultimate Fighter over here with Ross Pearson, and he's Dominic Cruz's jiu-jitsu coach and the guys from Alliance. And you speak to him about the way those guys train, it ain't too different than the way guys around here train, you know? Like, mate, they're still making ends meet, and, you know, like, I'm sure there's, you know, obviously Dominic Cruz and guys like that, they're making good money and doing what they're doing, but then you've got another 40 guys in the gym that aren't making that money.
Yeah.
And they're all training together. So they're doing the morning session, you know, and they're doing backyard strength conditioning in someone's house, mate. You know, they're not getting, you know, the old. It's very few get that treatment that what people think. So you have to sort of say, like, man, you got to do something. You know, should I be doing this condition or should I be doing that condition? It's like, man, you should be training to fight somebody, because right now that is not going to be the difference between you winning and losing. The difference is you turning up at the gym and doing something.
Yeah.
Right? So he'll rock up and he'll grab the weights and he'll shadow box with weights, or he'll skip and then, you know, does something. And that's if he's sore somewhere, you know. So that's the difference.
And that's the thing. I think there was even right before McGregor fought Mendes, there was like they did like the countdown and show. He was pushing a fucking sled up a car park.
Oh, mate,
like it was like I was like, even at that level, I was like,
that's right. Yeah.
I was like, your fucking facilities don't mean shit, but
it's good. I mean, like, don't be wrong. You're probably one of the best gyms you'll see here where we're in now, but it's not. That's not why there's good fighters coming out of here. You know, it's obviously going to be good for people to come in, and it's a welcome atmosphere. But it's the training that counts, and you know, and then it's also the individual too. You know, like
you get lucky with certain, like you said, if you didn't have Anthony Drillich there, like you might find it a little bit harder to get motivated to train.
For
it's
sure.
like you get kind of lucky with like
you build a group.
You've got a group, but you've got one of the best groups because they're all similar ages, they're all similar records, experience, and they kind of all bounce off each other.
Coming up together, yeah. That's another thing too, you know, guys. That you got to build for the future as well. Like when I opened that gym, the part of it, main reason was to do what I love to do every day. You know,
I love your Instagram. Oh yeah, I don't have a fucking pause.
Yeah.
No.
Sitting by the boats.
Actually, it was funny because I put a post up the other day about how I don't like boats. And I mean, Nico Flesses, he fishes and all that, and he was like, I agree with everything, but I love boats. I'm like, yeah, I actually didn't think of that, but.
I hate boats.
It wasn't to do with boats. Jeez, man, if I had a boat, I'd probably be out in it, you know. But it was. I spent 10 years in like working FIFO on the rigs, And I'll admit, I was guilty. I bought the new car. I bought the nice shirt and all that.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I did.
I'm not having that.
No. But I stole from the high class shops, But all that and it just fills it doesn't fill anything. You're trying to fill this empty void.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything. So when we made the decision to open it and do what we're doing, we and I promote the gym a lot, and I know people will go, oh man, like what have they done? They've been there 5 minutes. It's like, yeah, mate, you're right, I've been there 5 minutes. But it's between me and make a living. I don't sell bullshit. It's one thing I don't sell. I don't sell
I
shit.
fucking love how you speak to all your members and everything. And
Yeah,
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Anyone else would be like, all right, guys, please come and train. Let's have a good one. You're just like, don't be fucking pussies. What the fuck? There's 3 people here. 5 people said they were coming. Fuck you guys.
That's what they come to this kind of gym for.
That's it. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, they'd go to Jets and do a boxing for
Yeah. Like going back, I talk about the UK a lot because it's
the best.
I still do miss a lot of parts about it, But I remember walking in, you got my gym, like Next Generation, like the head coach there, Paul Rimmer, right? So
Legend of a man.
he is. He taught me there. 90% of what I do now is all been taught by him. I've never met a guy that can sit on the side of a mat, sitting there watching, and be like, yeah, move that leg to there, and then do that, and then it works. And that's the honest truth. And then. But he don't pull no punches, mate. He's had to deal with, and I'll say this with all respect because he's had his gym torn apart probably 4 or 5 times, and he's had friends of mine, leave him, and I mean I won't go into it all, but he's had to rebuild and so many times over, and that guy he just rebuilds, and he always has guys that he's built. He doesn't pull nobody. It's like, man, this guy's my guy, and he start again. And he's amazing, but the one thing about him, he's straight up the line because he's dealing with, again, people over here don't realise the how to say it, the geographics of the UK. Like Liverpool, where he is, these kids, man, they're tough kids, and I wouldn't say they're tough as like they're no more tougher than there's a guy down here playing rugby league, tougher than all of them probably, but they're tough as far as like, mate, when they walk out that gym, they've got every drug known to man on there in front of them if they want it. They've got every other career to go to. It's there, mate. It ain't like there's not a huge separation between normal life and being a bit of a criminal there. Over there it's very gelled. And so he deals with these guys that come in and they'll spin him shit. They'll spin him this. I didn't do this, and he don't muck about. And then on the flip side, the other gym I was at ASW, the head coach there is a guy named Darren Morris. And to this day, you ask me who the toughest guy I've ever met in my life is this guy, mate. And he's amazing.
Mitchell Tinley.
Yeah, second to you, probably. Give me a 9.9 and we'll talk, mate.
Top 5.
But he don't muck about. And I walked into this gym. I texted him one day. This guy, became a good mate of mine, Chris Hoban, and I said, thinking about coming up and doing some wrestling because they didn't catch wrestling as well. So I was like, during the day, I'll come there and do some grappling. He's like, yeah, mate, come along. So I rocked up there, mate, and so I'm sitting in this little tiny room, and I mean, it was probably the size of Kick-Ass, old Kick-Ass.
Oh shit!
And as I'm sitting there, mate, Paul Cahoon walks in, Rob Broughton walks in. Now these are big names, mate. These are guys that are like Stephen Kennedy. There's like 5 Stephen Kennedys walking in the gym, and they all look at me, and they're all like Rob Broughton. I think he might have been in the UFC at the time, or he might have been out by then. But
he's a heavyweight.
He's a heavyweight.
I'll fucking Google so many people.
Yeah, and they walk in, man, and they start training, and I was like, oh, can I jump in? Yeah, jump in. And half these, no one asked me for money, no one asked me to sign anything, no one asked me. And I went at the end. I said after the session, it was amazing, and I said to Darren, who do I pay? And he's like, I think you give the guy at the counter £3 because it was at a weights gym called Powerback MMA. Powerback, the weights gym. So he was just like, fuck fine, basically. And these guys, and they don't muck about. So if you didn't want to be there, they didn't need you there. Yeah. You weren't making their money. They were like, they didn't care if you were good or you were bad. They just cared that if you're going to fucking come in and train, then train. But if you're not going to, you're just going to come. So over here, I had to learn that I couldn't do that because obviously people are a little bit more like, oh, well, why would I go to you if I can go to this guy? But I don't muck about. Even my kids, students, man. If you watch me coach a kids class, sometimes you'll cringe. And I'm not negative on them as far as like I want to keep positive, but like I let them know they're the boss. So when I line them up, if they're mucking around, I make them do push-ups, and I point to their parents and say, hey, you, because they all, kids, I like to look at their parents, help me, and I'll say, listen, he ain't going to do fuck all, he's going to take you out of this gym if you want, but that's about all he can do. Yeah. I run this show, and it gives the kids that sense of belonging too. They're like, all right, well, okay, so I'm not going to, and I've seen, I've got all different kids in there. I've got autistic kids, kids with Asperger's, and all. I get messages off the parents saying, man, they're so confident now, and it's because I didn't treat them like they were freaking babies.
Because you spend half the time, I was saying like when you jump on your members page and you fucking let everyone, half of it's fucking telling parents. And I love that shit. Yeah. You're just like, parents, this fucking
parents,
this shit.
Parents just love,
And look, you probably lose fucking 5 or 10 but you don't want them anyway. You know what I mean?
Call them dead wood, mate. That's
right.
Right.
Exactly. You don't want, and the ones that do stick around, you said, they fucking...
most parents are good. Most parents understand, and they bring them into the gym for that exact reason. Like the world's a shitty place, mate. Like they want their kids to grow up with a bit of discipline, and not all parents can give their own kids discipline. Man, I got a daughter. She just runs the rings around me.
I love it.
And she's nasty to me, and she's nasty. Like if I'm there, mate, she won't say hello to anybody. But you get her around the teachers on their own, and she's like the star student. And people are like, oh man, I babysat Kyra tonight. She was so well behaved. I'm like, fuck, well, Jesus,
Like when you put up all those, I think it was like 7 or 8 photos, and everyone's smiling, and she's just mean.
Yeah, she's like, fuck your photo. You know what I mean? Like,
get her in the way, and she's gonna win the fight that night.
but that's how it is, So these parents kept bring them in, and it's not that they're bad parents or they're not disciplining their kids. It's hard when it's your kid.
Everyone plays that. Every kid plays that.
So they rely on me to give them that. So they come to the gym 45 minutes every night, and for 45 minutes, that kid realises that he's not bulletproof and his parents can't protect him.
So that's the class you go 45 minutes.
45 minutes for kids. If I do an hour, it's too long,
too much.
Man, you got to.
Do you do like is that like the 15-minute warm up?
We do about a 10-minute warm up, just like drills and get them, and then I make him do like push ups and stuff like that. I make him get right into it, and obviously, if you've ever been to the US and seen like the wrestling, the way they coach the kids out, man, it's nasty. Chris, the head Next Gen HQ in Frisco in Dallas, he's not there anymore, but the wrestling coach there was one named Kendall Cross, and he's Olympic gold medalist. But he also used to come in, and there was another guy there. There's another guy there from the high school, and so Chris lets the high school wrestling team train there as long as anyone can jump in and do the wrestling. And man, you see these kids, man. They're like they do something wrong, man. It's like they're like 10 years old. It's like, man, you're gonna walk up and down this mat on your hands. I can't even do that now. And then if there's a bit of an argument, they like make them wrestle it out, and they're like right into each other, and so you get a bit of an idea of how kids are, So you don't want your kids. I don't want kids in my gym to be nasty little shits.
Yeah.
But I want it to be the same we were talking about before. Like you get it now, and they shave net NG in their head, the school photos, and they've got a bit of pride in them, And I think that's what needs to be built with gyms. Is it's not about being aggressive to other gyms or because we all train together. Realistically, I mean, shit, I was up here training with these guys when one of my guys was fighting one of their guys.
Yeah.
And they were coming down to my gym. It's just part of the deal. But you want them to be like proud of where they come from as well, and get a bit of make them stick their chest out, because I think that's half the battle with kids. Some of the kids these days is they've been made to feel like they're weak and they can't do anything. Like, I've got to get my dad to do everything for me. It's like, no, man, like chest out and have a go. I've got kids competing. My son's a perfect example. We took him on the mat the first time, and he would not get on the mat. He was scared. Just like he's only 5 and he just didn't want to do it. And I've got him up at these comps now, and he's competing. And it's like that's a massive jump. But if you sit there and let a kid do what he wants to do all day, man, the majority of kids will want to eat ice cream and watch Phineas and Ferb on the couch.
Yeah.
There's going to be that odd kid that wants to do some damage, but most of them will be like you offer a bit of sweets. But so you got to be like, hey, come on.
And that's the thing, like before you do anything good, like they say, like risk and reward, like anytime I do like MC shit, comedy, everyone thinks it's all cruisy. Right before, I want to run.
Yeah.
I want to leave.
Yeah.
But if I didn't learn that, and karate's obviously the biggest waste of time in terms of like physical skill.
Yeah.
But like mental, it taught you that like exactly like that. I don't want to fucking do this. But some random stranger is teaching you fucking discipline. That's the one thing I fucking learned. Believe it or not. Was discipline from karate, and now that you've got MMA, where you can take that sort of mentality of the wrestling and get kids almost parented in a way, like everyone's helping type thing. Now they're learning legit martial art as opposed to so many kids who are in karate walked away from karate going, oh fuck, I don't know anything.
That's right.
But they learn all the other shit. Now we're putting it together with
yeah.
MMA. You've got that greatest team vibe, especially with kids. I don't know how the kids are feeling about it, but it looks like a soccer team or a basketball team.
That's how we try to make it, you know.
Shirts.
And MMA is like, oh no, that's scary. We can't do that. You've got fucking kids running around, and it looks so friendly but tough, but like inviting.
Listen, mate. When we open, you know, like you got to start somewhere. There's like WA is a funny place for MMA. There's a lot of gyms that have been here for 15 years, and then you've got a few that are popping up, and I think like being honest, there's a few gyms popping up that. You know, it's hard to say what's legit and what's not. You know, you can have good fighters, you can have bad fighters, or good coaches or bad coaches. But there's you know, you've got your core gyms that have been around for quite a while. You know, and they're always gonna have good crew coming through, but they've got that established. But you know, I knew when I opened it up, I had to start somewhere. And you know, for me, it was bringing a lot of white belts in, like. For me to compete now, like I compete in boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and now MMA. Like I said, I've always feel like I'll make a better coach and more fighter. But man, I just like to fight because I just like to do it, and I also like to, you know, hopefully the idea is, you know, crush some dreams, mate. You know, because a lot of guys like to talk it up at the moment, and you know, they have 3 or 4 fights, and all of a sudden they want to fight in the UFC. It's like, mate, I'm not looking at getting in the UFC in a year and stuff like that, mate. I'm 30.
You're looking to stop them.
I hope that I get a good night's sleep this weekend. My kid not jumping in my bed, mate. You know what I mean? But you know, just trying to keep lads honest. And I suppose even in the gym, that's what a lot of the time I'll do. You know, like we get a lot of guys come to my gym to train. You know, I've got an open door policy. Doesn't matter who you are, you come down. And my style is very unique. It's not the best. I'm still working on things. You know what I mean? But I do get guys come down, like Jack and Josh come down, and Brody's come down. You know, had
Mitch has been down.
Mitch Martin come down before his last fight a few. And I said this to like if Richie Lockett come down in the week, and we always get Lexi comes down. We get a lot of guys coming down just because it's an open mat and come in and roll. And if I can show something that they like and enjoy, it helps get my name out there as well. And you know, there's no, you know. There's no real secrets. It's everyone can get everything. It's just what you practice more of. But obviously, by the little things I do, people come down and learn. But
yeah, we talked about that last week. There's no like hidden formula. Yeah. If there was, they wouldn't fucking tell you because they want to keep it to themselves.
I think there is little things like I heard this guy. You know, he's been around forever. He's Tom DeBlas. You would have heard him on Facebook, and he said there is secrets. You know, like if he can give his ankle to anybody outside that, you know, that Dana Hart Death Squad, and he can sit in that heel hook for days, but you give him to one of those guys and they know that little fine finish point. That's okay, you know, but
details.
But coming down and exposing a guy to say like he's not good at arm bars and you are good at arm bars and you're smashing him with arm bars, that doesn't make you better than him. It just makes you know something really good that he doesn't, and then he's going to get better at defending him, and then in that, I'm going to have to get better at doing that, and then it's how it evolves.
Well, you did that with kick-ass with leg locks. Like, you just came in and it was just next level. Like, all of a sudden, like, first time you came down, ever since, it's like been leg lock. And you can tell, you miss a few classes and you roll with some guys and you're like, fuck, he's been rolling with Marcus. Yeah. Like, it's has
and a lot of it is just that. It's just rolling with a guy who's good at them. Yeah. You know? Like, you can go to all the classes in the world and, you know, man, I'm big on the whole, man, I hate when people fucking say us and all that shit, you know. That's just me, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I don't like that.
Like half the guys that say that, they couldn't get in a fight. Like another thing the other day, someone was saying, like, you know, we were talking about before about getting in a fight on the street, but now it's sort of going the other way. You know, I know, like, there's most of the purple belts I know now, get a guy out there with half a bit of bit of go about him, he's not going to be able to do crap, man, because the stuff he's learned is so, like, he can jump on his back and do a spin. And I do that stuff. I mean, that's great to do. It's martial arts. But if you want to keep it basic, and half these guys, their basics are pretty bad. But, like you said,
I think that's why I like sending my guys to you on the nights that we're not doing MMA here or whatever, is that I'm very much basics orientated.
Yeah.
My guys do 10 things really well.
That's right, man.
Not 100 things okay.
Shit, yeah,
or
that's
1,000 things okay. And I'm never going to... Any of the spinning and fucking jumping and flying shit, that's their own shit.
That's right, yeah.
And the fundamentals is what I teach them. That's how I think at this level, that's all you need. Be fit, be ready, be sharp, and know your fundamentals.
But that's what I think that one of the big problems with jiu-jitsu, because obviously it's exploded over the last couple of years. There's more gyms, more people doing it. But sometimes, like you said, you can be a fucking purple belt, and then you can go against a white belt from Kick-Ass or something like that, and they've got that catch wrestling style. It's like the fish girl when he was showing everyone the guillotine. And like when you learn it, you're like, okay, let me just put my, okay, yep, okay, cool. And then fish girl is just like, it's like a left hook. He's like, bang! And you're like, and once you take that into like a normal jiu-jitsu class.
The guys I started with, not just started with, but let's talk about that Darren Morris before, I think I'd seen the other day, he got his brown belt in BJJ. I can shit you not, there's not a black belt here right now in this country that he wouldn't submit in 5 minutes flat. And I'll go on record and say that Darren Morris, Paul Rimmer, I was telling me this is years ago now, Jeff Monson came over and they did a training session and he just watched him just go over Jeff Monson. Now,
if you don't know who Jeff Monson is, he's a fucking
beast,
he's the thing.
Neither here nor there, training's different and all that. But Darren Morris, he was a white belt in jiu-jitsu. The guy had been grappling for 30 years, mate. So like you can take all that shit and shove it up your ass. All that, what belt's he or what belt's he. Belts are a massive thing, and you've got to be proud when you get promoted, and you should be. But the amount of guys that sit back and rest on their, he's this or he's that, it's like, mate, you're only as good as your last roll, but
did you see fucking Ensign, what's his last
he
name?
demoted himself.
And
whether you agree with that or not, I'm not trying to bring that into it. I'm just more so saying, like, I guess now with so many things popping up, and I could be mistaken for it as well, like what I teach. But I mean, I get guys coming down, and I know what I'm good at, and I know what I'm not, and I know what people like to learn off me, and that's okay. That's my little thing. But like say we talk Steve Candy. There's a guy who's grappling. It's funny because although he's won all the fights grappling, his submission games are underrated. He rags himself out more than anybody. Yeah. But you go to Steve's gym, and I've seen white belts submit him. And he doesn't turn around and go, I was just doing this. That he wasn't. But, like, me and Steve, will roll can be quite competitive. But, man, if he's on, man, there ain't not many guys that could give it to Steve. And that's my opinion of it. Like, when he's on and he's on me, man, he's on top of that. That's what they call him. That's a nickname that's for a reason, the steamroller. And he doesn't sit there. And Steve's a black belt, mate. And he doesn't sit there and go, like, try to sell it and try to do this and that. I think he should more. I think he should really, like, he underrates himself, I think, more than anything. Man, that guy's a killer, man, on the mat. You get him. I watched him one time before his fight with Brian Eversole, and he's injured a lot. And I remember, I said to him, man, you roll like I've never seen you roll that before. And when he's on and he's fit, it's hard to control a guy like him, man, with his wrestling and everything like that. And then you want to spar with him and stand up with him, and he's still pretty good. I mean, pretty good. Jesus Christ, he's awesome. But you know what I mean? Like, he'll sit there and go, I'm a wrestler, and then he just kicked the shit out of someone. It's like, so there's a guy who has no ego at all. Like, he's got no, like
he talks shit, but that's just...
He has a laugh,
Yeah.
But if anything, man, like, I try to fly his flag more than he does, man, because I just think he's the most realist guy you'll get.
I think it's
his number one flag flyer.
8 podcasts in a row. I think I've talked about Stephen Kennedy on it.
No, but he is, mate. He's obviously Steve's in as far as jiu-jitsu's gone. He's come under Next Gen, so he's part of the next generation.
He's now under Chris Brennan, isn't he?
Yeah. So he's come under Chris.
Oh, cool. That means mine.
Yeah. We'll have to speak about this.
Does he know that I'm a
blue
belt?
But that was more like Steve. Obviously, he didn't want to do the gi thing anymore, and he hasn't really done much of it anyway. But he didn't really want to do it anymore, and I started training there. started teaching the catch and the no. I teach catch there. It's just no gi jiu-jitsu, you know. But like again, now we're still so far behind here in the mentality. Not skill wise, man. Skill wise, there's mate, some of the best grapplers and fighters coming out of here right now are really good. But the mentality is like you take the gi off, and all of a sudden it's like they're going, oh, so do you do jiu-jitsu? I'm like, I do jiu-jitsu every night at my gym, every day and night. Oh, but do you wear the gi? No, we don't. Oh, so what do you do then? I fucking jiu-jitsu, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but that's that mentality. It's like, well, you can put your gear on and you can talk in a Portuguese accent and say us every 5 minutes, but like Anthony Drillich is going to still rip your heel off every 5 seconds. That doesn't mean anything to me. You know, you get in there and be like, you know, you want to be able to do it properly, you know. So that's my whole opinion on that we're behind in that way. I feel like it's so, you know, we've got to, you know, you don't have to do any of that, mate. You know, you just got to do what you want to do. Jiu-jitsu is the gentle art, mate. That's all it means. So if you want to wear a leotard and choke guys out all day, if that's your thing, right, which probably would be your thing, you know what I mean? You're still doing jiu-jitsu.
I jumped into a gi the other day. I was like, how do I do my belt up? Like I was like,
and that's another misconception. Like Ben says, me and Ben, you know, speak more than a lot of people know. You know, like we know the same people back in the UK, so we've got that bit of connection. So we always talk about it. And Ben, you know, you say you like the gi.
I do, yeah. And now, I never used to.
Of course, and you know what? Like I don't hate the gi. Do I think the gi makes people worse? It's just fuck no, man. The best guys in the world. But I just think you don't need to do it if you're never going to compete in it. But some guys really enjoy it because it slows it down a bit and all that. And we don't teach it in my gym. I know even Paul's all like my coach back in the UK. He's a black belt under Chris Brennan. He's always done no gi, but they still wear the gi there every now and then now, and it's no big surprise. Whatever, mate. Like,
and the belt, that's the thing with no gi. Like they're not saying like the belt is like I'm a black belt, so I can say I'm a black belt. It's like it's kind of just to kind of let them know. Like it's not like all these guys are rocking their rashies and loving what colour that rashi is.
Mate,
but you know what, as well with the whole belt thing, right? Everyone's on their own journey.
Yeah,
that's right.
So
of course. Yeah.
Your blue belt is different to my blue belt.
Oh, you just bring that up. I was going to stop it.
how my blue belt was. And, you know, there's a 60-year-old dude in the gym who's a blue belt.
Yeah,
mate.
He's never going to give anyone any fucking dramas.
Well,
what's the harm in him having a
Well, he's technically sound, all that sort of stuff. That's not what it's about. It's like you get with man, everyone's different, and there's always a different criteria. You can't give a 60-year-old a blue belt the same reason you're going to give a guy like, you know, I just say for example Anthony, because he's only blue right now. So you can't, you know, they're going to earn their blues different ways, but it still doesn't mean he's not. So there's all that comes into it. But
what I really dislike is people go, how's he a fucking blue belt?
Yeah.
Well, don't worry about how he's a blue belt.
That's right.
Spend more time worrying about why you're still a fucking white belt.
Exactly, mate.
It's not like
maybe it'll change your.
It's not like a UFC ranking. Like it's not a ranking on like, oh, if he's a blue, you should be a blue.
It's a personal thing, and if you get there sooner than others, then good luck to you. And if you don't, then you just keep on training and you get better and better. But like I said, we come under, like Chris is still. He's a 4th degree black belt, so we still come under and we grade or we promotion or whatever you want to call it. We promote guys, and Paul's always promoted guys, and I mean Fishy's a brown belt. He got his brown belt off Chris, but under Paul, and I'm a purple belt under Chris and Paul. So we still get promoted just like everyone else. Yeah. You know, it's still under jiu-jitsu, and Chris is, even though like I'm not a big fan of IBJJF, Chris is still registered under the IBJJF. We're registered at our gym, so people can say what they want, and I've had it before, mate. You know, like on Facebook, guys tag me this. Oh, this guy just said that, you know, no gi sucks, and it's like, oh, whatever, mate. Some guy I don't even know living in Midwest America. No, I don't care, bud. You know what I mean? We're just doing our own thing, you know.
Anytime you discredit anything, I mean, it happened with obviously the Mayweather and McGregor with boxing and MMA. Instead of just going, you know what? Hey, let's see how this pans out. Look how that was. Everyone's like, oh no, boxing's superior, no MMA. If this was real, and it's like,
it's amazing.
It's like just
fucking great.
I'm alright. I've never been the biggest Conor McGregor fan in the world. Do I think he's an awesome fighter? Of course I do. You'd be an idiot if you didn't think he was. But like, it's just not the guy that I'm a fan of. It doesn't mean I don't like him. It's like saying like Anderson Silva. He was never a guy that I used to turn on the TV and watch all the time. Yeah, he's a freak. But I liked other sort of style fighters. That was just me. So when I would say to people like, oh, McGregor, and then the other day when I put a post up about it saying like 6 years ago, man, that lad was making bank, you know, maybe, you know what I mean, doing, trying to get by in the UK Irish fight scene for next to nothing. And he had a 4-2 record, pro, and now he's just done what he's done. All right, whatever. If you think he's an idiot, or you think he's a good dude, or you think he's a whatever, doesn't matter, mate. What you think? He don't give a shit.
But he doesn't come in and
go losing any.
Yeah, that's right.
But he didn't come in and go, "How did you get assistant manager?" Like, he doesn't care.
Exactly, yeah. And you got all of these guys, like, and my big thing is, boxing was my first love, funny enough, but, and I say that funny enough is like, because it's definitely my strong point, like, but he's like, the boxing world, man, my Facebook was filled with boxers going, and people were like, oh, I hate these new age McGregor fans. I'm like, yeah, maybe I do a little bit too, but you know what I hate more? Is you, 45-year-old Bill from fucking from Bed's Plumbing, telling everyone how the real fight's Triple G and Canelo. Yeah, probably is, mate. Who knows? But hey, a lot of people tune in to watch this fight, mate.
More than ever.
Yeah, and you're sitting there giving all the excuses in the world while the fight should happen. And I agree. I was like, not because I was so passionate about it. People are like, oh, don't you really care? I'm like, it's not that I don't care, like I'm going to look away from everything. I didn't care as the fact is, like, the fight's irrelevant to me, man. I'm an MMA fan. Like, I would have rather him, not that he's not going to, but this weekend I would have rather him defend the title against someone, and it would have been good. And he would have won, and it would have been good or whatever. But that was my only reason. But to have him do what he did, people can say what they want, mate, but it talks cheap. And guys are saying it, all these, it's the old, like I said, man, some of the old school boxing community, they're so like hell bent on trying to think that like it was a battle between what was the better art. It was like, nah, man, he was testing himself.
Yeah.
Okay, for like hundreds of millions of dollars, but he was doing it to say, look what I can do against this guy. And it was like, oh yeah, but Mayweather didn't throw much the first 3 rounds, or didn't do this. At the end of the day, mate, the fight was stopped in the 10th round. He lost. Move on. He made a lot of money. You all watched it. You all cared.
It always kills me too when everyone's like, tells you how it's going to happen. I'm like, you fucking know.
You
like,
never
just sit
know.
back, just chill out.
I said, like, what the possibilities have been winning. Like, you can't count anybody out. And that wasn't because it was Conor McGregor. Shit. I put anybody in there against someone, and I'm going to say, well, there is a chance. That chance may be that Mayweather got the runs before he walked out and then got dehydrated and his time, whatever the reasons may be, but there's always a chance.
I mean, it's
literally, the fight was probably most likely going to go the way it went. I don't know. I just found it really, really funny how everyone got so...
And everyone gets so passionate about it, about how, like, they wanted to say how wrong it was. Or, like, at the end, Jed Bolton put up a status where he was like, oh, Conor McGregor got my respect. He's like, yes, 43-year-old fucking Cole's assistant. I'm sure he's like really happy.
Mate, like the guy was, whatever his personality is, or where you feel he but he's different behind closed doors, or it doesn't matter, he's an idiot. I don't know. That's just a personal opinion on him. I don't have a personal opinion on him because I don't know him. Yeah. I know people that do know him really well. Chris, he brought Chris out there to help him with his jiu-jitsu before the second Nate Diaz fight. Chris, he's telling me like before how much and Chris used to do a bit of coaching for John, and John Kavanagh, but he said like before he's like, I'm not a fan of him, and then he went out and helped him, and he was like, man, he's like, that guy, like he's a student, So when he lost against Nate, he was like, oh, is he like a white belt in jiu-jitsu, man? I know that he won the Euros and purple belt a few years back. There's
definitely not a white belt.
He's good. Like Nate Diaz took him down with a single leg in the first fight, and he fucking X-guard up and swept him on top. Like a white belt doesn't do that. But at the end of the day, you got rocked with 1-2, and that's
what people keep fucking saying, and they're like, you're gonna get punched in the head and then try and defend a rear naked choke.
That's it, mate. And at the end of the day, mate, it's like
And that's what's great about this Eternal. We've got. See how I brought it back. We've got two.
There's a fight coming up. I forgot about that shit.
Two fucking grapplers in Pablo and George that are gonna put themselves on the line. It's funny watching with Pablo training out the back.
I trained him on Saturday, and I've coached George coached my classes on Tuesday night, and said Pablo was down there Saturday, and I said to Cam when we walked out, I was like, fair play to him, man. because he didn't stop and he did every round. And
Well, you know what? He's decided, which is sensible because he's a grappler, that in training he's not going to try and take anyone down and use his jiu-jitsu. He might try and take people down,
He's doing all these
but he's trying to get comfortable standing up.
Yeah.
So he's fucking battered and bruised, and he's like trying to do his jiu-jitsu with Josh Della on top of him, punching him in the face.
That's right,
Oh, my shit's not working anymore.
No, it's there's like George is very athletic, you know, and Pablo is like, I wouldn't say he's athletic, but he's obviously highly technical, so he's good in that way.
He's pretty athletic too.
Obviously, like, you know, and I know both of them quite well, but you know, obviously Pablo is the better jiu-jitsu guy for sure. Like George he will definitely be on that level soon, but he's a little bit behind. But that's where I found it when you told me about when they were first going to fight. I was like, well, yeah, if it was a submission only thing, you know, I'd probably bet on Pablo. You know, George could always win for sure, but like anyone could. But like I think Pablo skill wise and George is a little bit behind him, but. When it comes to MMA, you know, George is athletic,
strong.
That's going to take him. You know, if he knows how to throw some punches from some different positions, it's going to be hard for Pablo. But then again, you know, it's one of those ones, isn't it? It's going to be pretty cool to watch. They're getting out there, and there's another one. You know, all these guys talking it up, and you know, putting their little, you know, jiu-jitsu posts up, and these two guys who are pretty cool, and they're going to get in there and give it a go. And I know they respect each other, and I know George is always like.
Mate, he can win by knockout, and they'll be like, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be raw, mate. Like,
they were so scared of the jiu-jitsu.
It's those jiu-jitsu angles, you know what I mean? They're cutting those jiu-jitsu angles in MMA.
It's yeah,
that's right. Yeah, you never know.
Pablo actually said, I don't want to be a black belt who's never tested his jiu-jitsu.
No. Well, he was testing it the other day when I was there, like, and guys were like giving it to him, and not like hard, like we obviously don't spar like want to kill people, but you know, and it was good to see him. Like I said to him, don't get disheartened by it, like just learn from it. You know what I mean? I had a guy who had really good jiu-jitsu, and he said like, oh, I'll do some MMA sort of rolling. And I said, listen, what I'll do is you can start in my guard, all right? I'm just gonna tap you, you know, like we're not gonna hit you. And then, you know, once I started tapping him, everything went to custom for him. And I wasn't hitting him hard. It's just that little bit of a
it's not when you first learn leg locks, and you're fine, and then you do it in MMA, and you're like,
yeah, that's right. You gotta learn to like
it's a high risk strategy.
Yeah. Well, it all depends how you look at it. You know, the thing about leg locks, what people don't understand is, I've seen guys with their back up against the cage on the ground, with the guy standing over the top of them, laying into them. I know what I'd be doing. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
But I've got an option to stand there and get punched in the lay there and get punched in the face, or maybe isolate one of his legs, maybe get a sweep, maybe stand up. But I mean, that's what I tell people, like, don't like take anything as gospel and think that I walked in before and I'm gonna put it on the spot here and you were teaching X guard, and you're like, you know, Matt, you just walked in, but I'm like, man, I look like we just spoke before, Conor McGregor X guard in the sweat Nate Diaz MMA fight. I remember when people started doing.
It's only because I had gi pants.
That made a little bit.
When it works,
yeah, I was like, yeah, but like I've seen guys like, you know, that doesn't work in MMA, or that doesn't work in jiu-jitsu, or this doesn't work, and then I've seen guys do it in an MMA fight, and then now it's like, you know, back in the day, like, you know, people were like, oh, you know, you got a boxer do kickboxing, and now you get these karate guys that are doing all right, like, not doing all right, killing it,
making a comeback
because they're evolving into the style. Like, if you sit there and say something definitely doesn't work because you can get punched in the face, that's shit. You can get punched in the face from anywhere. Like, that's like saying triangles don't work in MMA. Man, I see a lot of guys get finished by triangles, and yeah, you can get punched in the face from there, but timing's everything. You know, timing's everything. So, like, with me and, like, the whole, like, I know a lot of guys will say, oh, we don't do that because in MMA, you know, you can get punched in the face. I'm like, man, if you ever, like, even sparred, like, you're probably going to get punched in the face.
It is funny, too, when you've never trained ever before and you watch it and you go, fuck, punch in the face, that fucking hurts. And I think it was David Krill from Mma. He's a great Muay Thai guy. And he's like, after the third, he's like, I forget I'm getting punched in the face. He's like, the first couple, you're like, oh, no, I can't do this. And he's like, then you forget 100 others until the one you get knocked out.
Once you get to a certain level, the punches are kind of superficial on the ground unless someone's really
like they're in a half guard, they're smashing down.
Once you've decided what you're going to do, you're going to do that and go, well, I'm going to wear a couple of shots now.
But like I said, man, everything's timing, you know, and guys can say that this doesn't work or that doesn't work, but I think you can do a lot of things. I know, like, for one thing, I used to be one of those guys who'd be like, oh, these guys pulling like what's the rubber guard? You know?
Rubber guard,
And
yeah.
I'd be like, rubber guard. Yeah, like that's not going to work in MMA. And I'll be honest, I've got a couple of good mates that are high level fighters that they've been working on that a lot in their sparring because it works for them now. And
Well, Ben Saunders and Tony Ferguson would fucking
Yeah.
it didn't work.
of course, mate. You know, like it worked. Well, and another thing is too is what works. There's no wrong or right. It's what, like, obviously technique wise, you have to do the right technique. But when it comes down to actual moves, there's only what works for you and what works for me, and then what doesn't work. And you, like, speaking of going back to the jiu-jitsu wise, like this tornado guard, guys do tornado guard. It's a small man's move. The best guy in the world at it is Roberto Abreu, this super heavyweight. You know, so like it works for him, and it's everything. Like, I teach a lot of stuff that I'd never do. Doesn't mean it's not going to work for this guy.
That's the thing too. That when you're coaching it, it's like if you're just coaching shit that works for you,
You're going to have a very narrow, and because a lot of the things that I do won't work for other guys. Like, well, I get guys come down and they're like, oh, can you teach me this or show me this, how you did this? And I show them and they can't quite get it or grasp it. I don't say, well, you're doing it wrong. I just go, man, it just might not be a move that you're going to be good at, but you might be good at this, or you might use that to do this. But like, perfect example, two good friends of mine, like back home, and I say back home, they both extremely high level grappling for MMA. But if you watch them, they look like they're completely different styles. Paddy and Fishy. So Paddy's very long, you know. He likes to scramble and then slow you down, and he can get stuff from anywhere, man. I seen that kid put a flying triangle with his back against the cage. You know, like, well, me and my missus were there at the Echo, like it was like little bastard. You know what I mean? And he just like gets up looking like he's the guy.
he's my fucking favourite. He would have to be my favourite guy.
And then Fishy, he's gonna double leg ya, and he's gonna grab your neck, and you know, like, you can kind of almost know what he's gonna do, but it's, can you stop it or not? But you'd be surprised. They have both got like a basic style that they've all got. I mean, you've always said it about us. Like, I've got that same. But you've got to evolve from there. So they have the basic understanding of what works. I mean, Paul made sure of that. But Paul's always allowed people to, like, if you're good at something, Paul's never been one to go, well, you're good at that now, work on that. He's like, nah, man, let's work on that. And so when I had like Jimmy Harbison, who when he comes over, he tells me that he just gets a reverse arm lock, and then his whole game goes from there. And like, you see guys like, oh, that wouldn't work, and then you see him roll. And you can, you know, ask Steve and Cam about how, I mean, you're talking like, guys can say people are high level. You know, when you watch this guy roll and, you know, how many times he taps like pretty decent level black belts in front of you, you're like, man, like, what's this guy doing that I'm not doing? It's like, man, he's just doing what he does best. You know, that's what he's doing. He's putting you in your game.
Sometimes it's like, you might see a move and you're like, man, I want to fucking do that, I want to get good at that. But it's just like any other sport. Some people are naturally good at fucking jumping. Some are naturally good at running. Some are naturally better attacking a limb than they are at attacking a neck. Yeah. It's just like, and it's mentality, like what do you want to do? What can your body do? And it's like, and all the good coaches will sort of, you guys have done, you coach that individual. So in a class sense, you kind of go a bit broad, but then your individual, like, sort of feedback you give people, it's generally based on that person rather than...
Like saying, when they fight, like Pablo and George, there's all these different scenarios that could play out. But it's only one scenario that's going to play out at the end. So there's going to be people that are going to be wrong about what's going to happen in a fight like that. They're both good at jiu-jitsu and they're going to do this, and they might strike, they might just go to the ground, it might be whatever, it might be one of the best fights you've ever seen, like, because they just scrapping, I don't know, but and then you could walk out there and one of them could throw an overhand right,
bang,
and carry the other guy, and everyone's going to go, well, his jiu-jitsu didn't work. It's like, bro, it's a fight, mate. That's what happens, you know what I mean? Like, there's always that chance. Like, you know, another thing I hate is people counting out people when they lose, you know? Like, you see guys lose, especially in the local, like, you know, young side of MMA, like, you know, like, people are going to lose, man, you know? I guess now it's becoming a bit more where guys are getting, like you know, undefeated records and that, but, like, look at most guys that are at that high level now in the UFC, they've got a few losses on their record from back in the day. It's just, you know, they might have fought it, but they're like, how'd that guy beat him? It's like, man, he probably was a better fighter than the guy still, but he copped the bloody head kick.
And that's when we go back to like performance over guys in the gym. Sometimes it's guys that are great in the gym, but performing, like anything, go stand on a stage and watch that feeling you get. And I was like, now you got to fight on that stage with everyone watching. And you just might not be there that day.
And you're vulnerable as well, you know, like everyone sees how vulnerable, like everyone sees the real you, or more or less, you know, I suppose. And so there's all that. And like I said, I think the best way to deal with it, as far as like if you're just a fan and you want to watch it and understand, is just take yourself away from all the emotion of it and just go, right, it's two guys in the gym. If they fought 99 times, one guy might win 60, one might win 39, or whatever it may be. But tonight, when they fought, they agreed to fight that many rounds, and this guy won, and he's the better guy. That's how it's going to be forever. On that record, it's going to say that forever. So don't whinge about it. They just accept it, you know. And you see a lot of guys that come out from losses, they do that. They just lose, and they're like, oh well, next one, you know. And then some guys it crumbles, you know. And it's understandable both ways, you know. Like, man, it's how you know, everyone's different, but yeah.
So your fight. Give us your thoughts on Josh and
So I don't talk shit, you know. That's not my thing. He looks like a tough dude, man. He's from West Sydney. You know, they're not soft out there. You know what I mean? If you've ever been that way.
East Sydney, super soft. West Sydney,
fair is in East Sydney. That Rob Whittaker, mate. but seriously,
right now.
Yeah, no, you don't know. But they like I've watched two of his fights. And yeah, man, he's got power in that left hand. Man, you know, like, what can you say? You can say, oh yeah, man, I can take. Mate, he could hit anyone and probably knock him out, or he could hit a guy 10 times and maybe not, you know. So he's dangerous, you know, and he looks like he's pretty good all around. I'm sure he'll be good everywhere. So, but I wanted to fight like that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, like I said, I'm not here to go. Maybe they might want to say that, but for me, I'm just fighting because fighting's a part time for me. I train hard and train full time, but fighting for me is secondary to coaching, and I just like to do it because it's a bit of a.
Just got to get that rep back up. And they're like, Coach, why should we listen to you? And you're like, one last. That's it. No, but you got to, like, I've always competed on and off throughout since I was a kid. Like I said, so like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing. I've obviously like competing boxing, but and then now MMA and getting a bit of that. But I don't think you have to compete to be a good coach, or I don't think you have to be a good, you know, to be a good coach. You know, you don't have to still be. But I just like to do it for myself, you know, because it's just keeps me alive a little bit. There is no better feeling than fighting.
I think it really helps as a coach. Like, I'm the same as you. I was never going to be the world champ, but I always felt like I knew how to break down fights. I saw how fights went, and I was a way better coach than I ever would have been a fighter. So, but I'm really glad that I fought.
Of course, yeah.
Because I can now sympathise with what the guys are going through mentally. So sometimes it does put me off when there are coaches that have never had any fight experience, because you just can't understand the game necessarily from where the guys are at that time.
Yeah, everything like that. Like Paul, I think Paul had a few. I think he might have a few amateur fights back in the day, or he did have a couple, two fights. But I mean, he has, whatever it is. I know he ain't competed in a long time, but he's one of the best coaches in Europe. But as far as for me fighting Josh, you know, he's undefeated. He's 3-0. You know, he's I think he's finished 2 of them. One of them was pretty highlight reel specky knockout, so that was cool. Listen, like, you know, I've got all respect for those guys at ATT. I know Fishy is good friends with Suman and that, so, and I've spoke to Suman on Facebook before about like going and getting guys over there for shows and whatnot. But
wait, did he retire?
The other night, yeah.
Was it just, he's young?
I'm not sure. Suman is a marketing genius.
I was going to say, what's the...
He may be back.
Pulled off the 3 greatest submissions in a row.
Look at it this way, mate. You know, like, I sparred a lot of hard rounds last week, and I sparred a lot of hard rounds the week before. And I went home and, you know, I felt a little bit fucking funny. You know, I'm 31, I've got 3 kids. You know, like I said, I'm not looking to make any big breaks. I'm looking to fight for the next few years and fight good guys that not saying Josh is not one of those guys I'm saying about, but like guys that want to talk it up and like, I'm this and I'm that, and I want to fight those guys. And I always, and it's funny, it's a small sort of world and going back to it, but like, one of Oldham's first grappling coaches is a guy I know from the UK named Stuart Bars. And so if I'll listen and he'll know what I'm talking about. And man, I remember when I was coming up in the grappling side of things, and I watched this lad. He was like in his 40s, man. He fought Dan Hardy back in the day and everything. He's still in his 40s. And this guy would just go in, man. And like he would finish guys. He would get knocked out half the time because he was at that age now where he's getting old. But then I watched him, like there's a guy in Cage Warriors now named Matt Hinman who's like killing it. Like he's killing it. And I would like, you know, like I wasn't there, but I've seen him guillotine, Stuart Barr's guillotine in 30 seconds. And I remember speaking to Stuart at a comp one time and I was like, man, like, why don't you still fight, bro? Because you're still good. And he was like, man, I just want to keep these fucking posers honest. And I was like, all respect, because I was like, man, he did too, you know. Like some of those, not that Matt Hinman never talk shit like that, but that was an example of a good fight that he was able to finish. And so for me, that's more of the reason for me is like, I see a lot of guys, I've been lucky enough to train with some really good guys and I've seen the difference in levels. And I say, okay, so there's guys that have got, like, after Josh's last fight, he messaged me the next night. Like, so Josh and I Jack Della train here, but they're good friends of mine. And he's like, oh, you know, tough night, you know, whatever with the decision. And I said, listen, like, you fucking, it's right there. It's 3-1, mate.
Yeah.
Calm down. Josh is an awesome fighter, and he's got all the potential in the world to be a world champion if he wants to be. But it ain't going to make a difference that night. That was just experience for him.
Yeah.
It's only going to benefit him whatever way the result was. And
the fact that he made it through that.
He's still got years and years to learn heaps of different skills, and he's going to be a killer fighter. But I think guys put too much pressure on themselves because what's happening is in Australia right now, very, very big market for guys. That happened in the UK probably 10 years ago. Guys to start getting signed by the UFC after 6-0, 7-0. But the flip side it's different now is back then the roster wasn't huge and the UFC was building. Now, man, they've got like, I heard something along the lines that they've got 500 people on the roster and only 300 active. So you've got 200 fighters there sitting there not fighting. So now guys are going in there, they're losing 2 fights, and that's it.
Yeah.
And there ain't no comebacks now. Like it might.
There used to be like,
you fuck off to Cage Warriors for 3 fights and then we're going to sign you. That ain't happening, man, because they got this is big sport. Man, when you had your shot, no one cared about you. We've got this other guy here, and you might have had all the potential in the world, and you might go away to like ACB or Bellator and be a killer or whatever, but you're not going to be that guy that you wanted to be because you're not in the UFC anymore.
So we spoke to Steve about that. He was 22-6 before he got to the UFC.
And against like decent, like high level guys.
And now you can be fucking. I mean, you still have to be obviously of a good quality, but to be like 6-0, 7-0. And he said to me, he's like, I would rather have gone in, maybe a couple of fights earlier because he's an injured guy. But it's like, he's like, hey, I like taking those fights, and then you say that too. It's like you could be fucking 6-0, but if you get there and you lose 2 fights and you're gone, you're not coming back.
Mate, they're not coming back. That's it for you. So it just depends what you want out of it. Like, there's no.
Do you want a t-shirt?
Yeah.
Get there.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
stay there.
So there's no rush. So I think going back on like we were just talking about before about like Sermon as a smart lad, man. You know, I tell you what, he ain't going to be brain dead in 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you have to look at it that way. What does he want to be? Does he want to? I think he wants to be coach, promoter, all that sort of stuff. That is, and he's done everything right. Like you can't knock that. So, and like I said, those boys are tough. They come to fight.
Yeah.
So when Josh comes over, man, I mean, like I got all respect for him and all that. But I'm going to go in there and I'm going to try to pull something off him, and he's going to try to knock my head off. And I'm not no illusions about that. And I don't care. Like we're not, you know, like we're not going to be like, you know, like after the fight, it'll be all good, like it always is for me. I've got no ill feeling towards anyone. You know what I mean? You know, unless you're a crackhead. But apart from that, I'm pretty cool with you. But like so that's how it's going to be. Yeah, sorry, Mitch. But so with Josh, like for me, that's the balls were really.
I think that's great too with being a coach. You know, you see that with jiu-jitsu gyms, and obviously don't name any fucking gyms or people, but the coach won't go in comps or things like that. And now you're.
No, but it is hard, man. Like I seen it back in the. I seen it a lot, man. Especially with jiu-jitsu, people say to me all the time, "Do you want to compete?" Oh, I got invited to the submission only comp here. I got food poisoning just before it.
Was it Adam Jones?
Yeah. So Anthony took my spot.
Fucking hit him.
Yeah. But you know, man, it's not about like for me like being a coach and fighting's hard because obviously there's expectations. But you know, I always break it apart. There's me, the coach, and me, the fighter. Like when I'm in fight camp right now, like I'm not the most pleasant guy to be around. Like, you know, in the gym, even like that, I've got to like constantly like apologise to people because like, but that's how it has to be.
Yeah.
But then again, you do get the people that are like, well, man, I like that because this guy is real and people see my emotional side. But realistically, you don't have to compete. I just like it because I enjoy it. It's got nothing really to do with my coaching. Jiu-jitsu, I want to compete a lot more in jiu-jitsu. I have before obviously competed a fair few times, but I want to compete more in jiu-jitsu. The only problem is, so like, I'm building my kids up at the moment, and if I go and compete in a comp, then it's about me in my head. So I won't compete in anything that's like Fishy versus Tyrone. You won't get a more high-level jiu-jitsu match than that in WA right now, probably. You know what I mean? Like when they and that was at an Mma local jiu-jitsu comp, but they compete against each other, so that's pretty cool. So not saying it's not relevant, but like for me, that when I go to those comps, that's about the kids and the students. For me, I've got a business to run, so that's what it's all about. Me going in there and then not having time, I want to be there cornering all these kids, you know. So that's part of it. About it's hard to be a coach.
Because you'd be half in for yourself.
And you're like, is this guy not thinking about him and all this? And like jiu-jitsu is a funny one, man. You're not getting punched in the face, but I've got more nervous competing in grappling, and when I mean nervous, like after like a minute on the mat, you know, your muscles start tension, you get that adrenaline dump, and then and so it happens. And I've been there, and like I should probably keep saying this, but you know, Jazz, big tall Jazz
Clump.
Yeah, so she comes and trains us a fair bit down Next Gen. She's from base MMA, and very very good at everything. And she fights games. She comes to my gym, man. She spars with the lads, man. She don't give a shit. But I've seen her, and she's like nervous before the jits comp. You know, she's like this. Because it's not because she's scared. Man, you want to win, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, now I don't go in enough to lose. You know what I mean? Like I said. So for me, fighting, I might say I'm not looking to like make a big name for myself. But I'm definitely going in there to hurt somebody. Like I'm going in there to put some motherfucker out. And if I get put out doing it, that's the nature of the beast, man. That's the gamble you take when you put your name on the line. But you know, I could sit there and say, I'm not going to fight.
I talked to Ben about how many fucking fighters he corners at Eternal, and
man,
it's like
you're backing it out. You haven't got time to sit there and give the guy the pep talk. Yeah,
well,
and you can't. It's not like the movies. You know, you're not sitting there going, "Oh, come on, it's all about you, mate." You go, "Oh, bro." Yeah, can you wrap in, mate? Because I've got 4 other guys.
And it's like the guy that just lost the decision he should have fucking won, or a guy
to
that
him,
got
that's a
knocked
massive
out.
thing. To him, that's a massive thing. You know, he's
and his show, literally, I'm going to be up and down the stairs because I've got 9 of the 13 fights.
So main event. Who's the main event? Josh
and
Brendan.
Party.
Yeah,
Brandon.
he's a cunt. Yeah,
it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah. Like again, there's another thing too.
He's fought Glenn Sparrow, didn't he?
Yeah.
Which is a fucking.
I heard. Well, I didn't see it. We went to the fights. We left early. I went there to.
Why did you leave early? You're wearing your Eternal hat now. Come on.
Nah. Well, so it was my daughter's birthday that day. We had a party and then she had a sleepover. So me and I had Fishy with me. So we were going to go. We were going to corner Dean, but there was a heap of us there. So obviously he's my boy. So we want to go up there and support him. So we went up there, watched Dean. And then, literally, we only stayed for Suman's fight because Fishy's obviously friends with Suman. Like, ironically, I'm fighting with his guys now. So we stayed and watched Suman fight, and then we left because we just had to get back because we were knackered, mate. But that Rapati, I know that he's like, man, I've heard he's tough and good and everything like that. And I'll tell you, that's the one thing. You know, Josh ain't taking no easy fight. And if he and do I think Josh can win? Yeah, of course I think Josh could win. Josh could win against most guys probably. Like, but is there a chance someone could lose? Then looking from the outside, like Josh probably believes he'll never lose, and that's the mentality I suppose you've got to have as a fighter. And from the outside, yeah, you're like, yeah, of course, there's a million reasons. There's a million ways to win and lose. But with Josh, he's not taking an easy fight. He wins, massive. He loses. Then he's got to work a bit more on his skill to get to that UFC level, and that's a smart thing to do. Like. You got to give it to Oldham, man. You know, getting in there and he's just digging out anybody really. They followed him, you know. And he fought Kit Campbell. Yeah. And after 5 or 6 pro fights, man. And that Kit Campbell, I think I don't know what his record is, but I know he's very very good.
He's like 6 or 7. And
then Oldham jumped back on the horse and KO this other guy. So there's a guy who's not taking easy fights. There's a guy who's like fighting. You know, Nick, sure. like I've known Oldham for a while, and I'm good mates with Nick and Jack and guys that he's fought, and and they're like, you know, no one's ever, trust me, man. I know two guys that well, I know Nick when Nick was fighting. I didn't know Jack when Jack was about fighting, but you know, Nick would come up and do rounds in our gym and all that sort of thing. And the one thing, man, that like they all said, like that Nick would say was, man, like, you know, he don't give a fuck, mate. The game, you know, and that's a guy who is only going to better himself when he gets. And I say when because I do believe he'll get to the UFC. Like I don't know when. But there's a guy who will better himself. Jack's the same. Jack Della, you know, Josh. These guys, man, win or lose, they're taking hard fights, and it's only going to benefit them because when they get to the UFC, they'll probably stay there. For whatever the time is. They're not going to get there after beating 5 chumps. Because trust me, pretty much everybody that holds fought are fucking tough guys. So definitely no chumps there. But like some of the guys that are like, you know, 4-0, and they're going, "Oh, UFC's coming to Perth, so I'm going to build my record." It's like, bro, like, you know, you sure you want to do that, man? You beat fucking old mate that works at fucking Kane.
And there's enough footage now. Back in the day, you could, he's 8-0. Okay, cool. They couldn't even see who you fucking fought. Now they can go, okay, 8-0. You beat a guy that was 6-7.
Well, that's how a lot they build a lot of the records. Like Fish, like I know Fishy always big on that. He likes to look at who people are beating, all that sort of stuff. But some of the best fighters that I've seen that are about like there's a couple back like Martin Stapleton, you know.
He's been around forever.
And man, that guy, man, you want to fight him, bro, you're going to come to fight.
He's on the next cage. Is he on the Liverpool one?
Yeah. And he's had a heap of fights. And he's lost a fair few times as well. But I'll tell you what, man, he ain't lost against nobody. And he's beaten a lot of really good guys. So guys like that level, and it's hard for people here to understand like who these guys are. But guys on that level, they're gonna kill it, man. Look at
You're on YouTube, check it out.
Look at Steve's record. You know, he's like beating a lot of good guys, like, you know, tapping them out at whatever he's doing. And
but I like it too. Like he beat. When I was following him, I didn't know a lot of. Like a couple of years ago, I didn't know a lot about people. But he beat Callum Potter. Then I knew of Callum Potter. And then when I found out my cousin Isaac Tisdale was fighting Callum Potter, I was like, "Fuck, it's a great fight." Callum Potter beat my cousin, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" So to me, Callum Potter is a big deal now in my head because
he's a big deal in everyone's head.
He is a big deal. I was actually thinking about that the other day. Like, man, that guy.
How he's not in the UFC?
And he's a big lightweight too.
That's a win too.
But he's a big lightweight.
Yeah.
And he fought Steve at welterweight.
Yeah, well.
But that's the difference you see. Man, Callum Potter, man. You ask me who the best lightweight is in Australia right now. It's him for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Unsigned.
Unsigned. And even then, like, he's a killer, man.
He's an absolute.
But like Steve to get in there, and that's a big weight difference, 7 kilo. But at the same time, you know, Steve's game placed that, and he choked out. I think he choked him out in the first round. Yeah. So that's the level those guys are on. Look at that, man. I don't think skill wise they'd be so far apart. But I mean, then Steve beats the guy in the first round, and then but that is a guy who how no one's signed him yet. I've got no idea.
That's
and he's got a killer record. I think like he's like he's had a lot of fights.
He's fighting Brendan Mumford, and then
that's right. Yeah.
So after that,
we're hoping he doesn't get signed until after.
Straight after.
So we give him a clause in his contract.
But that Isaac Tisdale, he's pretty cool, like fucking good fighter. I thought that was going to be closer than it was.
Yeah, he's.
But again, how close is a fight? He got dropped and got guillotined.
But that's the thing too, yeah. Exactly.
He doesn't get dropped with that, and then he comes back with the fight. So
Isaac plays Russian roulette every fucking time.
Fights are won and lost by inches, mate. You know, like sometimes it's complete domination, but it could have been from the spark of one little move that led to that domination.
But it's like you roll with someone, you might tap him out fucking 12 times in the session. He catches you once. That once just happened to be
that could have been. That's right. That's right. It could have been the one that everyone was watching, or the one that that you were competing against.
It's true. The training's training. Like
that's right. Yeah.
Whatever happens in there on the mats doesn't really matter a fucking stroke until you get into the cage.
I'll tell you a funny story that happened the other week, right? So, like I said before about Fishy, you know, being a competitor, you can't gauge how he is in the gym. I mean, he's very, very fierce in the gym, right? So, make no mistake, man, Fishy, man, you know, I learned a lot of Fishy, you know what I mean? Like, he's younger than me, but he's always showing me a lot of stuff and spent a lot of time together. But I was away for 8 weeks. You guys don't. I got injured my intercostal before last fight. I had to pull out of the fight.
Your what?
Yeah, my intercostal. You know.
Intercostal.
The reason I said that is because he said that. I injured it before
It's the muscle in between your ribs.
I was meant to fight Dan Jones and I injured that, and then basically when it came down to it, it took about 8 weeks to recover. I thought it was going to be out for 2 weeks, and it was like about 8 week ordeal.
See, it's funny you say that because you had work opportunity that you could have taken, and it's funny that you fucking chose to say that right now. Anyone else would have said I had work, and you said an injury, which is no one else would fucking do that.
No,
so,
like I popped it like proper, and then anyway, then like about 2, 3, like I'd already pulled out, and then about a week or 2 later, I got offered some of the old work, and at the time just worked out with the gym. I took it, so when I had to go to Dubai, I came back, and when I got back, it healed enough where I could roll. So I got in the gym, and Fishy had come over and took over the gym for 5 weeks for me, and like I said, mate, trainers training, we get each other all the time. I tell my students, my kids, you brag about tapping someone, man, you're off the mat for a week. But, when it's mate, you know what I mean? You've got to be like, suck shit, boy, it's got you. But, so, got on, and I caught him in front of everyone, and it was all good, we're all laughing, it was all good. And anyway, I was like, 8 weeks out, got the champ, mate, got the champ. And then anyway, then I think a couple of nights later, I got him again anyway. One day he walks in, and so this is like competitive Fishy coming out, and I just finished like an hour and a half session, and he walks in late, and he's like, "You tired there, Mac?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm pretty tired, bro." He's like, "Good." So everyone had stopped. So there was about 20 people there, and they all stopped. So they all sat on the bench and watched. And so he's just come at me, and it was back and forth, and I ended up catching him, mate. And honestly, bro, I got a mate called Sean Collard, right? So I think Sean's come here before. Fucking loud, bro. This guy, like, he won't let you into it. So as soon as I caught Fishy, mate, he's just, yeah! So me and Fish are always good, man. He'll catch me 10 times in a row, I'll catch him, and then he gets up, and I've got to slap his hand, and he's just pushed me in the face. And he's like, fuck off, like, don't, like, let's do it. Like, he didn't want to talk anymore, so we rolled, and I just fucking survived. And then when the round ended, he's like, you're not supposed to fucking start.
That's the one that always happens.
Yeah, and he's like this, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm a bit tired, right? So he's in the office, and he's like looking at me like he wasn't happy, So we went up to Steve's the next week, and mate, we rolled. He caught me twice, and I wouldn't let the round end. Steve's like, "Is that the round over?" And I'm like, "Nah," because I wanted to get him back. And as soon as finally the round ended, mate, and he's looking at me the whole night, looking over at me like this, and I'm like, "Fucking just say it," you want to say, because I've just been giving it to him for like 5 weeks. But that's the competitive Fishy. Even in the gym over time, it was like.
And he could be like, Cage Warriors champ, what does this matter?
No, I mean, we're mates, like, and then it'll go where he'll get me for 20 times and me catching him, but it was a snippet of turn of events. But once that competitor come out in him, it was like, so you see him in the fights when he latches onto that neck, and I know there's guys over here. I did hear of like a couple of people that were like looking to fight him when he was here, and it was like that's that's all good. He signed a Cage Warrior, so obviously he's not, that was never going to happen, But it's like, man, like, you see him, especially live, and some of the guys that he's put away, and they're like, they're not just not tapping because that guillotine's choking them. They're tapping because that thing's probably about to break their neck. He's so
how old is he? 24?
25. He's the oldest.
But that's what makes him a fighter. That attitude is what makes him a champion.
It's kill, So like in a competitive world, like say, like seeing with Tyrone. Tyrone's an awesome jiu-jitsu player, big guy, and competes. And then you just seen that competitive edge. I'm not saying Fishy's 10 times better than that grappling match, but it was like, man, that was a low level local jiu-jitsu thing. But Fishy at the time, bro,
world champ.
He's like, man, I'll fuck this guy up, because that's just how he wants to do things.
It always fucking happens when you roll. You get caught, you're like, let's go. Yeah,
and
the guy's like, oh no, I was like,
we're
just
tired.
There's actually a big hole in this wall. I was grappling with a guy, and he was 100 and something kilos, and I was passing this guy, and he just grabbed my arm, did something really fucking crazy gorilla strength, and like hyperextended my arm. And I went and sort of we stopped, but then I was fucking fuming. So I was like jumping up and down on the mat, and then he's gone like this, picked his belt up, slowly tied belt, looking at the clock. Like, he didn't want it.
I've been there, mate.
And I went, fuck you. Put your fucking belt on. He's going, oh, all right. I said, fuck, Brent, fucking put your belt on the floor. We're going. And he threw his belt down. I head snapped him. I fucking double legged him and just ran him straight into the wall. And he's fucking patting me on the back. He's going, Ben, stop. He's like, I'm not doing this. And
It's happened, man. It's crazy.
I will literally like when I'm like over it, you know. Cameron Murcutt's the worst because like you can even if you can like we talk about it all the time. Like if you tap Cam out like a few times, you feel like you lost the round, mate, because he just sucks the life out of you. And then obviously so when you're towards the end of the round with him, and that's a guy who doesn't get tired either. You know, like, he'll just keep going and going, and then you're looking at the clock like, is he going to stop yet, or is he going to slow down? And then but that's what I'm like looking at the clock trying to wind it down, or like, you know, that's why like a lot of the time I tell guys like to roll, and especially if it's a good guy and like a not a good guy, I go, listen, I don't mind a good guy submitting a new guy heaps of times. You know, it's good for the new guy to learn a bit of like you know, learn how to get that defeat. But I also know that in a 5-minute round, if you tap him 10 times, he's probably had 2.5 minutes of breathing because every time you tap him, like, so how did you do that? It's like, fucking JR.
It's my favourite.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So fucking
Could you show me that move?
Like Steve,
slow motion.
Steve,
Yeah,
how did you do that? My leg, was it right?
That's it. I was like, can you show that move in slow motion, like for the next 2.5 minutes? And so I sort of tell guys like, just write it. But yeah, we'll talk about before about that. What is Brendan Rapati's background? I know
he's done some grappling. He's a purple belt in
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu. Steve was saying that he won some ADCC trials or something. Good striker.
Yeah, no, he can bang us.
Hard fucking head.
He's tough, especially with
got some good wins.
fighting against Glenn.
Yeah. Good main event for the thing.
Mate, it's going to be fun.
Anytime you got Josh Togo, it's a fucking main event.
That's it, mate. It'll be entertaining.
As long as the King of Perth rocks up.
Both boys want to fucking scrap.
Yeah, that's
They
it.
want to go in there and put fists.
Man, Josh has got this style now. Obviously, him and Jack completely different. Jack's a lot more composed. Josh is true, but Josh has a little bit of performance in him. I sort of like it.
It's hard to say.
Intensity.
Both of them composed, I suppose, but like, in my opinion, Jack's just short and stocky, and Josh is just big and long, mate. They fight that way, you know. Josh fights like a skinny guy, you know, that you've just stole his lunch money, and Jack fights like a fat kid that wants your lunch money. You know? They're both keen, mate.
That's going in the
But like, no, they're good lads too, you know. So that's the main thing as well. Like, I got all the time for those, like both of those boys.
Because they come down. You go
all the time. They're good mates of mine, and you know, like obviously, as far as fighting goes, I learned a lot off them as far as that fight thing. But I think as far as like showing them stuff and helping out, I feel privileged to be a part of it because I know one day they'll be in the UFC and we speak about it all the time. Like I don't care who, like they train at a band, they train at an MMA clinic, and if one day, and Steve always says this as well, if one day they're in the UFC and you know you can say it's not about saying to people, I've done a bit of coaching or I've done work. It's just yourself, you know, doing the right thing for a local boy, you know. Like I think that's the one thing as well. WA needs to really. We've got a lot of good people over here, and I think if the more it's worked together, and I think you know now it is with the cage back in that, you're going to see a lot of lads making it really big. You know, there's a few prospects over in WA right now that could go in the next 18 months, 2 years. Could do really well. So
especially with the coming UFC coming,
and there is a flip side of that. There is some guys that have got like good solid records that are like they might be like 7-0 and that, and they're you know another 2 or 3 fights they're going to be like forces to be reckoned with in that, and then they're going to build from there. So it's going to be really good to see.
And the gym's working together is really.
It doesn't always work. You know, you have to do fight each other. Like I know, like so the other day. Anthony's fighting Mark Familiari and they put up a little video and that. It was quite funny. We don't get involved, and that's all good. They're trying to promote their gym and that, but you know, so that's always going to happen. I'm not saying we're all going to go train together with the MMA 24/7 boys after they fight. Like you still need that competitive streak in you, but I think in certain guys at certain levels, if they need a little bit extra sparring, you know, my door's always open, and like I said, Anthony's always happy. I brought Anthony up here a few times, and that so and that. Internal, that's going to be a good fight as well. I think, you know.
Even that, so like, even being a fucking ring announcer, I try to like lean towards. But if I see Anthony, I gave him more when I introduced him than I gave the guy who was fighting because I knew you guys and I knew. So I try to pull that back, but it's like when you got 2 fucking great fighters that you know and they're going to fight each other, there's something.
Listen, Anthony's all right. He's my little brother. All right, and I can sit there and blow smoke up his ass all day, but you'll you'll see what he can do, man. His hands are pretty amazing. He hits like, I'm talking, guys that are fighting welterweight and that middleweight that I know that are tough. He's dropping them. And then on the ground, man, like, people can say what they want, man, but he's not. He's going to fight at Bantam after this fight.
Yeah.
And
But you can't roll the fucking Marcus Mckeever.
He's just that. I heard Steve's podcast the other day saying he does everything that you wouldn't think. Like, man, you can't just lift him, you can't just turn him, and you can't.
He's so composed in there too.
But he's similar. Like, he's been around. Like I've been around combat sports for quite a while, and there's guys more experienced than me in a lot of ways. But I've been around it and I've seen, and he's been around it since he was 10 years old. He had a few amateur fights back in the day. Then when we opened Next Gen, and I say we, although it's my gym, he's been a big part of that gym.
Yeah, how did he become a part of that with you?
I met him a few years back through Brendan, his brother Brendan, and then when I opened up, they were living in Mandurah and they wanted to come there and train me. They liked my style of jits, so they that was the main thing. They were like, I really like what you do, and so they come down there like that. I seen Anthony's hands, and it was his footwork more than anything. He's in and out and the way he moved, and he was like 95 kilo at the time. And he's moving like Manny Pacquiao.
And he's like, what, 5'6" or 7?
He's a midget, mate. You know what I mean?
Hey, come on.
Yeah, you're a little bit taller than Ben, but he's and that's what killed me. I was like, man, how's this guy? It's like how's this fat little bastard moving like that? And man, he could move, man. So I was looking for a boxing coach, and Brandon, his brother, he was like talking about it, and then Anthony came down one day, and I spent a bit of time with Anthony, but in all fairness, I'd actually never seen him box. And then I watched him spar with a few guys, and I was like, is this guy for real? And then I watched him spar with, so I've got a couple of good guys that are pure boxers from down Mandurah, and they come down and spar the time, and I watched Anthony go with them, and it was ironic that you guys say that, like, good MMA guys are normally pretty good the first 5 or 6 rounds with another boxer, because obviously, if they've got good hands, but after that, the boxer's technique will take over in the boxing rounds. But Anthony, very, very good. So then he told me that he fought at Feather, at the last was at Feather. I didn't really believe him. I was like, how many people have you eaten since then? And then he just started dropping the weight, and I said, you're young enough to have a go at it, let's go. So he fought Troy, good jits guy, it was a first pro fight. I'm not gonna go on about like it was the greatest thing ever, but Anthony did exactly what should have happened. I really like Troy Caro. He's a champion of a bloke. Got in there and had a go, but I think it was a bit unfair matchmaking. But to be fair, like Anthony, for a guy who's 0-0 pro, it's a bad fight for him.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I think it's the same with guys like yourself. Like, when you throw your record out there, it's not that, like, that does not define.
I wouldn't deter anyone, and it shouldn't deter anyone anyway. And like you said, in the fight, it shouldn't deter anyone anyway. Like the guy I'm fighting is a tough guy, man. Like, you think you just wrap something on him in MMA, man, he's going to be keen as fuck to get out or whatever. And if I'm going to hit him hard on the jaw, and that's how it is. But Anthony, like, I'll say, like, for me, I'm doing it because I like to have a fight. Anthony, he's a prospect. For a guy who's 1-0 pro, he's a prospect. He's only 24. Yeah. He gets another 4 or 5 fights into him. We'll see, but we don't take it. We don't look ahead. Mark familiarity. I've seen him fight before. He's game as hell. And like I said, we don't talk shit. Like, we put that video up the other day, and me and Anthony laughed. We were like, good on it, man. And the one thing I'll say though, right, and
we're going to have to end it on this. This is coming up for 2 hours.
Yeah, sorry.
I've got an empire to run.
The funny thing is like when he said, when he said, oh, we're will he stand and bang? Like, man, Anthony stand and bang with anyone. But I make no mistake. I'm an MMA coach, mate. And if Anthony's got the chance to put him away on the ground, it's where he's going to put him away. It doesn't mean no one's a pussy or not. So we don't buy any of that stuff. But trust me, if he wants to stand with Anthony, that's going to be pretty fun for me.
Man, I'd fucking watch Drill Edge in the fucking crucifix dropping those elbows. I was about a metre away. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Nah, it's going to be good. So, yeah.
Right, well, I guess we'll
Thanks for your time,
we'll end it there.
We could actually probably talk until the fucking sun went down.
I fucking have no idea what time it is.
I think I had a medical with Paddy. Sorry, bro. What's the time now?
3:20.
Oh, fucking off. It's 3:15 it was.
Fuck, it's 3:20.
Mate,
God.
They're paddies.
All right, well, thank you
Wow.
so much. Sorry for keeping you so long. Mark's Mckeever, they can find anywhere if you're in Mandurah or you just want to go down and check it out. Next Gen MMA, Facebook. Yeah, hit him up and fuck the other guests we had on today. You'll matter. That's all that matters. All right, thank you.